Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। तुलसी राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा तरुण।
हरे कृष्णा गजेंद्र, हरे कृष्णा वीरेंद्र जी।
हरे कृष्णा तरुण जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। सो तरुण सर, अपन वीरेंद्र जी के यहाँ पे था मैं वैंकूवर में। गोविंद देव जी गिरी महाराज। So there was really a nice time spent there.
Nice.
या मतलब अगले 2-3 साल के लिए कोटा मिल गया है, ऐसे बोल सकते हैं।
सही है या इतनी एनर्जी मिल जाती है या
हाँ, एनर्जी मिल जाती है। हाँ, इट वाज अमेजिंग टू हैव योर गाइडेंस गजेंद्र प्रभु पूरे ट्रिप में, और एवरीथिंग वेंट रियली वेल। आप थे, फिर मतलब जो इमोशंस भी होते हैं ना, दे आर अंडर चेक, राइट? लाइक ऐसे, लाइक देयर आर लॉट ऑफ गुड थिंग्स हैपन व्हिच यू कैन नॉट टेल।
राइट या नहीं सही है अपने आप। और
so your presence was really beneficial and really good for us, to get the whole program going so nicely.
या नहीं, मैं तो आया था और आपने इतना बुलाया और बहुत अच्छे से इतना ध्यान रखा सब कुछ। और किरण जी ने भी। एंड तरुण दे डिड लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क। या बहुत आई मीन तरुण नोज ऑफ कोर्स, Tarun manages the Northeast chapter of MMA.
Oh,
and
yes. Correct.
He is also the convener for next MMA gathering.
Wow, such a nice
2024
big
में
work.
जो
हम लोग आएंगे तरुण जी, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
So Tarun is the national convener for that. So
right.
Yeah. So chalo, good. Let's start.
गजेंद्र जी, इसीलिए बहुत जोर से और ध्यान से पूजा करनी पड़ेगी अब तो। और
अरे
सबकी स्वामी जी लगेगी इसमें। तरुण जी स्वामी जी को भी पूछ सकते हैं एक बार, इफ ही कैन बी चीफ गेस्ट, राइट? लाइक अगर उनका प्रोग्राम मैच होता है तो we can start a conversation. Agar if that is something of interest, but just keep in mind, it came into my mind, right? Because he can be a very powerful speaker. एक आध दिन के लिए भी है तो
actually
definitely अभी गजेंद्र से ही पूरी काफी इसमें सब में डिस्कशन करके करते हैं
प्लानिंग। हाँ, प्लानिंग करो, देखो अगर
some twist in this whole organization, right? मैंने जो national convention होता है, so we can have some spiritual element. I think some spiritual element. So it will be a different convention, right?
Yes.
That will be very interesting. So yeah,
we will definitely be interested.
Or discussions about that. See how it goes.
Yeah.
क्योंकि स्वामी जी पूरा मारवाड़ी में ही बात करते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द मारवाड़ीज कंसिडर हिम एज गुरुज, राइट? जो भी माहेश्वरीज है इंडिया में, I feel that 20 to 30% Maheshwaris are connected to him, right? So that is another thing.
Yeah, no, that's a very great point, Virender ji. Actually, Tarun. So his वो उनके गुरु ही हैं एक्चुअली, जो अपने स्पेशली जो महाराष्ट्र साइड में सारे हैं, एंड देन ही इज हिमसेल्फ फ्रॉम मारवाड़ साइड से आए हुए हैं। सो मारवाड़ी में ही प्रवचन दे सकते हैं, मारवाड़ी में ही बात करते हैं ऑल्सो। दैट्स वन ऑफ द लैंग्वेजेस ही नोज आउट ऑफ 6।
तो बहुत ही बढ़िया है बच्चा।
हाँ, तो कन्वेंशन के हिसाब से हो जाएगा।
एक बार आयोडा भी है वटे हमारे ख्याल से एक आदि में आयोडा मैंने याद नहीं कौन था में पर आयोडा एक बार।
अच्छा ठीक है, चलो आप कनेक्ट करा ऑफलाइन भी और ऊपर विजेंद्र जी से भी
हाँ
और आपसे भी।
हाँ जी,
ठीक
हाँ
है,
जी,
हरे
हाँ
कृष्णा।
जी, चलो
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्णा
अजय।
हरे
अजय।
कृष्ण।
कृष्णा, चलो शुरू करते हैं। सो लास्ट वीक हम लोग वी स्टार्टेड अध्याय 5 और श्लोक 20 पढ़े। वी आल्सो read 21st and 22nd. What we are reading is about Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. So as we know, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, son of Maharaj Nabhi, महाराज नाभि ने तपस्या करी मेरू देवी जी के साथ, and then Lord Vishnu appeared, and Maharaj Nabhi wanted a son like Lord Vishnu himself, right? So Lord Vishnu gave that benediction, and then he extended himself as Ṛṣabhadeva. So Lord Ṛṣabhadeva manifested to Maharaja Nabhi and Meru Devi, and then of course Maharaj Nabhi went to Badrika Ashram. Once he made Ṛṣabhadeva as the king of the whole planet, he went for tapasya, as you used to happen, like we have seen all along. He did tapasya in front of Nar Narayan in Badrika Ashram and went back to Godhead. And we saw that beautiful stuti of Nar Narayan as well. So now Ṛṣabhadeva is the king, and then Ṛṣabhadeva and we saw the Varnashram Dharma, right? Like how you are brahmachari for first 25 years, and the next 25 years you are in the Grihastha ashram, and then next 25 in the Vanashram, and then sannyas, right? So during the Grihastha ashram, Ṛṣabhadeva taught how to live a life in Grihastha ashram, and he had 100 sons. The eldest was Bharat, on whose name the whole Bharatvarsh is named. And now as we are reading is Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is giving transcendental message to his sons who are gathered among with all the Brahmins. So all the Brahmins are there, his sons are there, and Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is giving a transcendental message. So, he's mentioning that, my dear boys, you are all born of my heart, which is the seat of all spiritual qualities. Therefore, you should not be like materialistic and envious men. You should accept your eldest brother Bharat, who is exalted in devotional service. If you engage yourself in Bharat's service, your service to him will include my service, and you will rule the citizens automatically. And before this, Ṛṣabhadeva also mentions that he is actually, and we can actually see that message, right? Just before that, in the previous shlok, Ṛṣabhadeva mentions to everyone that my transcendental body is Sachidananda Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it's not a material human body. Yeah, it's inconceivable because he is extension of none other than Lord Krishna himself. Yeah, so we are reading message directly from Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. So we read this shlok, but let's read it again one more time. So Virendraji.
Yes. भूतेषु विरुध्य उद्धतमाये सरीसृपास्तेषु सबोधनिष्ठाः ततो मनुष्याः प्रमथास्ततोऽपि गन्धर्वसिद्धा विबुधानुगाये देवासुरेभ्यो मघवत् प्रधाना दक्षादयो ब्रह्मसुतास्तु तेषां भवः परः सोऽथ विरिच्च वीर्यः समत्परोऽहं द्विजदेवदेवः. Translation of the two energies manifest, spirit and dull matter, beings possessing living force, vegetables, grass, trees, plants are superior to dull matter, stone, earth, etc. Superior to non-moving plants and vegetables are worms and snakes which can move. Superior to worms and snakes are animals that have developed intelligence. Superior to animals are human beings, and superior to human beings are ghosts because they have material bodies. Sorry, superior to ghosts are the Gandhavas, and superior to them are the Siddhas. Superior to Siddhas are the Kinnaras, and superior to them are the Asuras. Superior to the Asuras are the demigods, and of the demigods, Indra, the king of heaven, is supreme. Superior to Indra are the direct sons of Lord Brahma, sons like King Daksha, and supreme among Brahma's son is Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the son of Lord Brahma, Brahma is considered superior. Brahma is also subordinate to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because I am inclined to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are best of all.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Ṛṣabhadeva, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is kind of explaining like how different things are ranked in terms of who is superior, and of course the human beings have a special intelligence where we can go back to Godhead, as we have been reading again and again. And very nicely this evolutionary process is described. So let's read this purport, Tarun.
The evolutionary process is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya chapter 19, wherein it is said that there are two types of living entities, moving and non-moving. Among moving entities, there are birds, beasts, aquatics, human beings, and so on. Of these, the human beings are supposed to be the best, but they are few. Of these small numbers of human beings, there are many low-class human beings like Mlachesas, Pulindas, Bodhas, and Sabaras. The human being elevated enough to accept the Vedic principles is superior. Among those who accept the Vedic principles, generally known as Varnashrama, presently known as the Hindu system, few actually follow these principles. Of those who actually follow the Vedic principles, most perform fruitive activity or pious activity for elevation to a high position. Manusyasyanam sahasresu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Out of many attached to fruitive activity, one may be a jnani, that is, one philosophically inclined and superior to the karmis. Yatatam api siddhanam kashin mam vedi tattvata. Out of the many jnanis, one may be liberated from material bondage, and out of the many millions of liberated jnanis, one may become a devotee of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so you can see like how nicely it is described that first of all, it's not even easy to get a human birth, right? As we can see. So even though we are conditioned souls, even within human beings, as we can see all around us and everywhere, right? There are very few people who understand the Vedic principles. And it's being mentioned, and even people who understand Vedic principles, right? There are some karmis who believe in karmas, which are great, right? Very few of them. And then they get attached to the satogun and get good fruits and results, right? But then again, the ultimate benefit of being a human being is not achieved. But then some of them are then jnanis who can also even get liberated, right? Who can realize the souls. And after all that, right, there are very few who are devotee of Krishna, right? This is how it's being mentioned. So we are reading Lord Ṛṣabhadeva's teachings, right? Ajay?
Sure. न ब्राह्मणे स्तुले भूतमन्यत पश्यामि विप्रा किमित्तः परं तु यस्मन्नभिः prahutam shraddhayah mashrami kamam na tathagnihotre. O respectful Brahmanas, as far as I am concerned, no one is equal or superior to Brahmanas in the world. I do not find anyone comparable to them. When people who know my motive, after performing rituals according to the Vedic principles, they offer food to me and faith and love through the mouth of Brahmana. When food is thus offered unto me, I eat it with full satisfaction. Indeed, I derive more pleasure from food offered in the way than from the food offered in the sacrificial fire. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So what Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is saying is the Brahmins are the most favorable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Brahman is not, as we have read, right, before, that Brahman is not the one just born in the Brahman family, right? The Brahman is the Vaishnava. And who is the Brahman has been described, right? Who is the Brahman? Who is like really the highest devotee of Lord Krishna, who lives with the Vedic principles. And that doesn't have to be born in the Brahman family. Anyone can be a Brahman, right? A true Brahman. And so what Lord is saying is that no one is equal or superior to the Brahmans in this world, right? Also, like how it's mentioned that guided by the Brahman, society should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Then people will become very happy. Ananda bhavanti bhutani. When animals and men are sufficiently fed with grains, they become stronger, their hearts become tranquil, and their brains peaceful. And once all those things happen, they can then advance in spiritual life, life's ultimate destination. Yeah, so what is mentioned is the life's ultimate destination is the spiritual life. But as we know, it's not easy to get out of the clutches of the materialistic world because initially the hunger has to be taken care of, the families are to be taken care of, and so many things. But if they are fed properly and if people progress properly, then the most important part is to advance in spiritual life, because that is the ultimate destination, is what is being mentioned here. Hare Krishna, Rinaji.
Hare Krishna, Bhaiya. Dhrita tanurushati me purane yeneha sattvam param pavitram shamodama satyamanugrahascha tapastiti ksha nubhavascha yatra. The Vedas are my eternal transcendental sound incarnation. Therefore, the Vedas are Sabda Brahma. In this world, the Brahmanas thoroughly study all the Vedas, and because they assimilate the Vedic conclusion, they are also to be considered the Vedas personified. The Brahmanas are situated in the supreme transcendental mode of nature, Sattva-guna. Because of this, they are fixed in mind control, Sama, sense control, Dham, the truthfulness, Satya. They describe the Vedas in their original sense and out of mercy, Anugraha. They preach the purpose of the Vedas to all conditioned souls. They practice penance, tapasya, and tolerance, titiksha, and they realize the position of the living entity and the Supreme Lord, Anubhava. These are the 8 qualifications of the Brahmanas. Therefore, among all living entities, no one is superior to the Brahmanas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so how we see how the qualities of Brahmins are described, right? The 8 qualities says here, right? Sham, Dam, Satyam, Anugraha, Tapa, Titiksha, Anubhavaksha, Yatra, right? It says very clearly who are the Brahmins, what are the characteristics? Yeah, they have Sattva Gun, so they have a mind control, which is Sam, sense control, Dham, and truthfulness, Satya, Anugraha, out of mercy to everyone, they preach the purpose of Vedas to the conditioned souls. Then they do Tap, yeah, which is Tapasya. They have Titiksha, which is tolerance. And they have Anubhav, Anugraha, which is the position of the living entity and Supreme Lord. Anubhav of the relationship, the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those are the 8 qualities of a Brahman, right? So that's what a Brahman is, not just because somebody is born, but if they have those qualities is what is being clearly mentioned here. And again, a very nice purport. So let's read this. Virendraji?
Yes. This is a true description of a Brahmana. Brahmana is one who has assimilated the Vedic conclusions by practicing mind and sense control. He speaks the true versions of all the Vedas. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedascha Sarver Aham Eva Vedascha. By studying all the Vedas, one should come to understand the transcendental position of Lord Sri Krishna. One who actually assimilated the essence of the Vedas can preach the truth. He is compassionate to conditioned souls who are suffering the threefold miseries of this conditional world due to their not being Krishna conscious. A Brahmana should take pity on the people and preach Krishna consciousness in order to elevate them. Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally descends into this universe from the spiritual kingdom to teach conditioned souls about the values of spiritual life. He tries to induce them to surrender unto him. Similarly, the Brahmanas do the same thing. After assimilating the Vedic instructions, they assist the Supreme Lord in his endeavor to deliver conditioned souls. The Brahmanas are very dear to the Supreme Lord due to their high sattva guna qualities, and they also engage in welfare activities for all conditioned souls in the material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the true Brahmans, the Vaishnavas, the true Gurus we have seen, they have the high sattva gun qualities, and then they also go and preach and try to assist all the conditioned souls. Okay. Varun?
Matopya ananta paratat parasmat swarga par swargarya par gardhin dipaterna kichvata na kinchit yesam kim yusyad itarena tesam akin shananam mayi bhakti bhajam. I am fully opulent, almighty and superior to Lord Brahma and Indra, the king of the heavenly planet. I am also the bestower of all happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom and by liberation. Nonetheless, the Brahmanas do not seek material comforts from me. They are very pure and do not want to possess anything. They simply engage in my devotional service. What is the need of their asking for material benefits from anyone else? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is saying this to all his sons and all the Brahmins who are there. And, he's saying that the true Brahman doesn't really ask for any material benefit. Yeah, he's always my bhakti bhajam, right? They are totally engaged in the devotional service of Lord Sri Krishna. Says here, the Brahmins are always dedicated to the Lord's service with their bodies, words, and mind. There is no better person than a Brahman who thus engages himself and dedicates himself to the Supreme Lord. Sarvani matadisanyataya bhavatadi Sarani bhutani sutta dhruvani Sambhavityani pade padevo Vivikta drigivista dhupaharname. My dear sons, you should not envy any living entity, be moving or non-moving. Knowing that I am situated in them, you should offer respect to all of them at every moment. In this way, you offer respect to me. Yeah, because he's saying that because the Lord is in every entity, we should offer respect to all the entities and never envy them. This is the message Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is giving, right? says even from the Padma Puran, Upapadete Paramatmanam Jivebhyo ye Pade Pade Bhede Neva na Chetsmat Priyo Vishnos tu Kaschana. One who sees the living entity and the Supreme Lord as always distinct is very dear to the Lord. Yeah. Padma Puran also states, Yo Hare Sucheva Jivanam Veda Vakta Hare Priya. One who preaches that the living entities are separate from the Supreme Lord is very dear to Lord Vishnu. What this is saying is, we are all part and parcel of the Lord, Supreme Lord, but there are two distinct things. One is Paramatma, and then all are Atmas. And there is a relation between Atma and Paramatma. So in Padma Puran is being mentioned that one who says like everything is just one is not necessarily true, right? There is a Supreme Lord, and then there is all the souls, is what is being mentioned, right, from Padma Puran. Ajay?
मनोवचो दृक्कर्णेहितस्य साक्षात्कृतं मे परिबर्हणं हि विना पुनाम येन महाविमोहात् कृतांतरपाषाण विमुक्तमुषेत्. The true activity of the sense organs, mind, sight, words, and all the knowledge gathering and working senses is to engage fully in my service. Unless his senses are thus engaged, a living entity cannot think of getting out of the great entanglement of material existence, which is exactly like Yamaraja's stringent rope. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. In a nice purport, let's read this. Rinaji?
As stated in the Narad Pancharatra, Sarvapade Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rikshena Sevant Bhaktir Yuchyate. This is the conclusion of Bhakti. All the time, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva has been stressing devotional service, and now he is concluding by saying that all the senses should be engaged in the Lord's service. There are 5 senses by which we gather knowledge and 5 senses with which we work. These 10 senses and the mind should be fully engaged in the Lord's service. Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So as we have read, there are 5 Gyanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, and then of course the mind, 1. So those are the 11 things, right? 10 senses and the mind should be fully engaged in the Lord's service, is what is being mentioned. And what are the 5 Gyanendriya? Which are the 5 Gyanendriyas? Do you remember? Which have the intelligence, right? 5 Gyanendriya. Right? Like eyes,
like hearing, yeah,
hearing, touch,
yeah,
smell,
yeah,
taste.
senses.
correct. Yeah. So the ears, the eyes, tongue, yeah, nose, and the skin. You feel the touch to the skin. So those are the Gyanendriyas. And similarly, we have the Karmendriyas and then mind. Yeah, all should be dedicated to Lord's service, right? Virendraji?
Yes. Evam nushastratmajana swayam nushishthanapi lokanushasnartham mahanubhavah paramasuryad gavan Ṛṣabhapadesha upashamashila namu parata karmanam mahamuninam Bhakti Jnana Vairagya Lakshanam पारमहंसधर्ममुपशिक्षणामणः स्वतनयशतज्येष्ठं परमभागवतं भगवज्जनपरायणं भरतं धरणीपालनाय बिभिश्च स्वयं भवन् एवोर्विरेतशरीरमात्रपरिग्रह उन्मत्त इव गगनपरिधानः प्रकीर्णकेश आत्मन्यारोपिताहवनीयो ब्रह्मावर्तात्पवाद्वाज. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, thus the great well-wisher of everyone, the Supreme Lord, Ṛṣabhadeva, instructed his own sons. Although they were perfectly educated and cultured, he instructed them just to set an example of how a father should instruct his sons before retiring from family life. Sannyasis who are no longer bound by fruitive activity and who have taken to devotional service after all their material desires have been vanquished. Also, learn by these instructions. Lord Ṛṣabhadeva instructed his 100 sons, of whom the eldest Bharata was a very advanced devotee and a follower of Vaishnavas. In order to rule the whole world, the Lord enthroned his eldest son on the royal seat. Thereafter, although still at home, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva lived like a madman, naked and with disheveled hair. Thus the Lord took the sacrificial fire within himself and he left Brahmavarta to tour the whole world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So after giving the message, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva left the Brahmavarta, because Brahmavarta is the place where all his sons were listening to all the Brahmins together. That's where he came and gave the message. Yeah. Tarun?
Janandaga the Mukha Badira Pishakam Madakavad Avadhuta Vaisyo Vivibhasya Yamanao Pi Jananam Grihita Mona Vrata Tustrinupnim Bhavu. After accepting the feature of Avadhuta, a great saintly person without material cares, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva passed through human society like a blind, deaf and dumb man, an idle stone, a ghost, or a madman. Although many people called him such names, he remained silent and did not speak to anyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we are reading like Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, he was teaching the whole Varnashram, right? And then he left everything, and then he's teaching how to live like a Avadhut, right? And then so Titiksha, as we saw, one of the qualities, right? Titiksha, where tolerance. So he lived like that. And although people, when he started touring the world, no one could recognize him. And then, he tolerated everyone, is what is being mentioned here. As we can see, it says here the word Avadhut refers to one who does not care for social conventions, particularly the Varnashram Dharma. However, such a person may be situated fully within himself and be satisfied with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one whom he meditates. In other words, one who has surpassed the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma is called Avadhut. Such a person has already surpassed the clutches of Maya, and he lives completely separate and independent from the materialistic world. Reenaji?
पत्र तत्र पुरग्रामाकर खेट वाट खरवट शिविर व्रज घोष सार्थक गिरिवन सार्थगिरिवन वनाश्रमादि श्वनपथ वन निचरापसदे परिभूयमानो मक्षिकाभिरेव वनगजस्तर्जनता जनताड नावमेह निष्ठी वन ग्राव शक्रिद्रज प्रक्षेपपूतिवात दुरुक्ते स्तद विगणयन्ने वात् सत्संस्थाना एतस्मिन् देहोपलक्षणे सदपदेश उभयानुभवस्वरूपेण स्वमहिमावस्थानेन समारोपिता माभिमान तद्वाद विखंडित मनाः पृथ्वीमेकचरः परिबभ्रामा. Ṛṣabhadeva began to tour through cities, villages, mines, countrysides, valleys, gardens, military camps, cow pens, the homes of cowherd men, transient hotels, hills, forests, and hermitages. Wherever he traveled, all bad elements surrounded him, just as flies surrounded the body of an elephant coming from a forest. He was always being threatened, beaten, urinated upon, and spat upon. Sometimes people threw stones, stool, and dust at him, and sometimes people passed foul air before him. Thus people called him many bad names and gave him a great deal of trouble. But he did not care about this, for he understood that the body is simply meant for such an end. He was situated on the spiritual platform, and being in his spiritual glory, he did not care for all these material insults. In other words, he completely understood the matter and spirit are separate, and he had no bodily conception. Thus, without being angry at anyone, he walked through the whole world alone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so you can see how Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is teaching, right? Like when a person fully realizes that the material body and world are temporary, he is not concerned with the pain and pleasures of the body. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, who do you want to read, Gajendra?
पढ़ दो तरुण.
नहीं, आप पढ़िए, थोड़ा बड़ा है.
Yeah. चलो. अति सुकुमार कर चरणों रह स्तुल विपुल बाह संगल वदना जवय विन्यास है प्रकृति सुंदर स्वभाव हासु सुमुखो नवनन नीलन दलायमान शिशिर तारारुणा तनयन सुरुचिर है सिद्धस्य सुभग कपोल कर्ण कंठ नासो विगुड़ स्मित वदन महोत्सवेन पूर्वनिता नाम मनसी कुसुम शरासन मुपद धान है परागल वलंबमान कुटिल जटिल कपीश केश भूरि भारो अवधूत मलिन निज शरीरे न ग्रह गृहीत इवादृशत. Tarun, translation.
Lord Ṛṣabhadeva's hands, feet, and chest were very long. His shoulders, face, and limbs were all very delicate and symmetrically proportioned. His mouth was beautifully decorated with his natural smile, and he appeared all the more lovely with his reddish eyes spread wide like the petals of a newly grown lotus flower covered with dew in early morning. The irises of his eyes were so pleasing that they removed all the troubles of everyone who saw him. His forehead, ears, neck, nose, and all his other features were very beautiful. A gentle smile always made his face beautiful, so much so that he even attracted the hearts of married women. It was as though they had been pierced by arrows of Cupid. Although his head was an abundance of curly, matted brown hair, his hair was disheveled because his body was dirty and not taken care of. He appeared as if he was haunted by a ghost. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So how it's being described, how he appeared. Ajay?
Sure. Yerhi vavas bhagwanam lokmam yogasyathva prateep mivaj क्षाणस्तात प्रतिक्रिया कर्म बीभत्सति तत्मिति व्रत माजगर मस्थितः शयान इवाशाति पिबति खादत्यवमेहति हदति स्म चेष्टमान उच्चरत आदिग्धो देशः. When Lord Ṛṣabhadeva saw the general populace was very antagonistic to his execution of mystic yoga, he accepted the behavior of a python in order to counteract their opposition. Thus he stayed in one place and lay down. While lying down, he ate and drank, he passed his stool and urine and enrolled in it. Indeed, he smeared his whole body with his own stool and urine so that opposing elements might not come and disturb him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Sukhdev is telling about Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. Rinaji?
तस्य यः पुरुष सुरभि सौगन्ध्यवायुस्तं देशं दशयोजनं समान्तात् सुरभिं चकार. Because Lord Ṛṣabhadeva remained in that condition, the public did not disturb him, but no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. Quite the contrary, his stool and urine were so aromatic that they filled 80 miles of the countryside with a pleasant fragrance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tarun?
Ivam go mraga kaka charyaya vrajyam tistitham asina sayana kaka mraga go charita pibhati khadyati avam mehati sma. In this way, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva followed the behavior of cows, deer and crows. Sometimes he moved or walked, and sometimes he sat down in one place. Sometimes he lay down, behaving exactly like cows, deer and crows. In that way, he ate, drank, passed stool and urine, and cheated the people in this way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think we'll pause here. Or actually, we'll complete the adhyaya. So let's just read this. Yeah. Virendraji, can you hear?
Yes, now I can, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you want to read?
Iti nana yogacharya charano bhagwan kaivalyapati Ṛṣabho virataparam mahanandanubhava atmani sarvesham bhutanam Bhagavati Vasudeva Atmano Vyavadhananantaro Darbhavena Siddha Samastartha Paripurno Yogeshwaryani Vaihaya Samanoja Javantardhana Parakaya Pradesha Duragrahanadini Yadrushchayopagatani Najasanruparude Yena Bhyanandata. Translation: O King Parikshit, just to show all the yogis the mystic process, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, performed wonderful activities. Actually, he was the master of liberation and was fully absorbed in transcendental bliss, which increased 1,000-fold. Lord Krishna Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, is the original source of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. There is no difference in their constitution, and consequently Lord Ṛṣabhadeva awakened the loving symptoms of crying, laughing, and shivering. He was always absorbed in the transcendental love. Due to this, all mystic powers automatically approached him, and such as the ability to travel in outer space at the speed of mind, to appear and disappear, to enter the bodies of others, and to see things far, far away. Although he could do all this, he did not exercise these powers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So I think, O King Parikshit, who is saying this? Who is reciting? Sukdev Goswami, right? The Bhagavad is being recited by, Srimad Bhagavatam is being recited by Sukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj about Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, right? So that's what we are reading. And Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is depicting all different cycles of the life, right? And I think this ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 5th canto, 5th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Ṛṣabhadev's teachings to his sons. Follow Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So tomorrow we'll continue reading chapter 6, the activities of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. Yeah. So I think we got a little bit over time today, but let's last week we were in Dallas listening to the Kirtan, Hare Krishna Kirtan. So the youngest Kirtan leader, was there, Mayuri Gandharvika. We are going to hear 5 minutes of Kirtan from her, and then we'll see you tomorrow. So let me just share the screen.
Hare
All right. So, there are 2,500 people in that hall in Dallas, and they generally have it once a year around Memorial Day weekend. Always on Memorial Day weekend. The location is decided before 3-4 months.
3,500. 3,500.
2,500 people were there. 2,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
25.
Amazing.
Wow.
It was actually the convention hall of Marriott Hotel. Totally packed. Totally packed. Amazing experience, actually. And she is Mayuri Gandharvika. She's from New Jersey only, Tarun, actually. She leads Kirtan in the Parsipani temple, in the, the Buntan temple, the Hare Krishna temple.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where she's from. But she leads such a wonderful Kirtan. So she was the youngest one, and they were like so amazing Kirtan leaders. And just imagine chanting with 2,500 people, the Hare Krishna Kirtan. It's just a different blissful experience. Next time I'll let you know whenever it comes out. So if possible, can try to make it together.
Yeah.
Chand Tarun, right? Chand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Chand is moved to Dallas. So I had informed him, he joined in. He joined in first time. So he's not like, he's just still thinking like what happened there. Like, it was so amazing. Amazing kid.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Nice.
cool. I know we are sorry a little bit over time today, but we'll see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. EST. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.